Welcome back to the shop. This is part 2 of the YZ250 Up the Speed. In this video, I have a few things I need to straighten out. I'm going to put the front brake lever on. I realize the subframe is bent over a little bit to the left side. I'm going to attempt to get that straightened out, clean the air box out. We're going to go through all the parts that have already arrived for her and put the foot peg on it and do some other things as I run into stuff. We'll take care of as much time as I have. I'll do as much as I can. But let's go ahead and run through the parts we have here, so far at least. Pro circuit shorty silencer, got a pro circuit pipe right here, some 996 Renthal bars, the twin walls, the top end gasket kit, Yamaha, the YZ250 race piston. I'm still waiting for the upper wrist pin bearing to arrive. I have one of these reed gaskets right here, the OEM one, to go with the B-Force 4. These are the 4X. The reason I have this clutch cover gasket here, these YZ250s, the shift detent spring on the other side underneath the clutch cover is kind of undersprung, and as they age and they get fatigued, they become worse. But the issue is it causes a lot of false neutrals where you go to shift from like second to third or third to fourth, and you get caught right in between the gears and it goes and it pops back in the gear. Well, I have a fix for that, and but we have to get that clutch cover off to do that. And the nice thing about that too is it will also allow for quicker shifts. I'll explain it when we get to that part of the job. That's probably going to be in part 3, but I'll explain more when we get there. It's a really good modification for these YZ250s, and in my opinion, if you're running them hard, you actually kind of need it. So that's why we have that. Some OEM grips. I do like my OEM grips. Front brake lever, you need that. These are Tusk titanium axle adjusters. These are titanium. They're really nice. They're lightweight, and that's all good. But the best part is they don't rust. These go right in here. Yeah, I'm sure you've already run into a bike before that these get corroded and rusted up in here and impossible to turn. They break, all kinds of nasty stuff. If you put the titanium bolts in there, that will not happen. So that's the main reason I get them. Yeah, it's lighter and that's all good, but the main reason is because of rust. Steering stem bearings, we have them. I just found these used in the shop. I'll give you a part number for these when we go to put them on. But what these are subframe bolts. The OEM subframe bolts, if you reach back behind here, you'll see they don't utilize all the threads going through the frame. They're kind of too short. And after a while, you'll find a lot of older YZs, the 2-strokes, that is stripped out in the frame because these aren't using all the threads. If you get the ones for the 4-strokes, like the 2015 or 2014 to current 4-strokes, they're longer and it's going to utilize all the threads, and that will keep that from happening, keep that from stripping out. So that's why I have that. What's this right here? Oh yeah, front axle nut. Apparently, I guess he got a flat tire at some point and had to fix that, and they kind of boogered up the front axle nut a little bit. It's not too bad, but you know, I want to make the bike look brand new when I'm done with it. So that's my goal here. Of course, I already pointed out the B-Force reeds, brand new foot peg, Sorvis frame guards. That's like the ones that are on that right there. And we're going to put shoe glue under them to protect the frame, but I'll show you that when we get there as well. That's a pipe coupler. Mainly I buy these just for that. That does a much better job at sealing that off compared to the OEM one. Let me show you here. Well, I've cleaned it up. You can see the goo that's... You see all that? That's just the old, and it's on the shock in here too. Let's see if I get the camera in there and show you. Well, yeah, it's in there. You see it all up in here. I cleaned a lot of it up when I washed it, and you can see it down here too. It's been dropping it down here, so that's what that is good for. The aftermarket one over here, it seals it up nice and tight, and it keeps that mess from happening. Yeah. Oh, tons of plastic too. Pretty much all the plastic for the bike, plus a brand new seat. That right here. I'm still waiting for the radio shrouds to arrive, but I believe we have all the rest of the plastic for her. So, all right, where do we start? I think the first thing I'm gonna start with is this front brake lever, because this has been driving me crazy. Every time I go to move the bike around, I use the front brake to stabilize the bike, and there's no front brake here. I even dropped the bike when I was taking it off the ramp I tried real carefully to just use this nub. My finger just slipped off of it at the wrong time, and it just fell right down the ramp when I was, bringing her home. So, got to take care of this first thing. This is driving me nuts. Alright, slide. It's all nice and clean. That's good. Yeah, it's pretty nice and clean in here. Wipe this up. Plus, I'm kind of starting with the easier stuff. I'm pretty sore. Saturday, I kind of had a bad crash. Hit my head. Got a mild concussion. I was wearing one of the 6D helmets. It did a good job. So I didn't get knocked out completely, but I definitely got double vision. What happened was we were at Motor Bros in Okeechobee, and it was kind of a windy day. And I just got done bragging to Offney and Dustin that, I don't have a problem with the wind because I've learned how to wheelie street bikes up to 150 miles per hour, and I'm not affected by the wind anymore. I've learned how to counteract it or counterbalance it and all that kind of stuff. Well, yeah, so like 2 rides later on the track, I jumped this one jump. It was a high speed, about middle fourth gear, but it was let me get that in there. It's not lining up. There we go. Yeah, it was only about 4 feet, 3 or 4 feet off the ground, but the biggest gust popped up out of nowhere, like a hurricane or a tropical storm type gust. Literally, it swept my whole bike like this out from underneath me, and I just went, wow. It was pretty nasty. I'm sore right now from like the hip area all the way to my neck. I'm not even kidding you. All the insides of me are sore. Oh, that was rough. But, I didn't break anything. It's all good, so I'm good there. I'm just really sore, so I'm kind of starting with the easier stuff that doesn't require as much extreme bending over, I guess. I'm hoping, but we'll see. Okay, I got that. I want to adjust this before I put the boot back on. So yeah, it was a windy day, but heck, there was no wind that strong. It popped up the minute I went in the air. I call that one an act of God right there. Here I was bragging that the wind doesn't affect me. Well, yeah, you see what happened there. So I'm learning to keep my mouth shut on that kind of stuff. But that's how life goes, and I'm okay, so it's all good. What I'm doing here is I'm adjusting. This adjustment right here, if you don't already know, it adjusts how far the lever is from the grip or the handlebars. I like to turn these all the way in for myself. I like to get them pretty close. Let me see here. But yeah, I ordered a new 6D helmet, so that's, it's okay. The helmet did its job, and she was about 4 years old, so she was, their helmets have a lifespan of 5 years, so she was at the tail end of her life, so no complaints. Okay. Wow, she's still pretty far out there. But they break in, and they'll sit tighter and closer in through time. I like to adjust them in. Hey, it is still pretty far out there though, but I'm gonna have to deal with it. Like I said, they do, as they age, they start sitting further in. These parts start wearing out and stuff, and they'll sit further in. But the reason I like to have these levers adjusted kind of a little bit further in, let me get you in here a little better, is for when you're on the throttle and you're using the brake, you're going in a corner. As you come out of the corner, you can ease off of the front brake while you're starting to roll in the throttle, or if you have to dab a little or drag a little front brake mid corner to keep the front end in the line, being able to use the throttle. Whew, that's all I do. We got a lot of work to do. to be able to use the throttle while you're still applying front brake is really good. If you have to literally really reach out that you can't use the throttle anymore, then you can't use the throttle and the brake at the same time, and that's going to hamper your control of the bike, especially at higher speeds when you really start picking up the pace a little bit. All right, let's get this sucker back on. Am I putting this on right? I don't think I am. Oh no, it does go on that way. Okay. I always get these stupid boots mixed up. That's the way it's supposed to go. It fits a little funny, but it's on there. Oh no, I had it on there wrong. Like I said, I always get these things mixed up. There we go. That's more like it. All right, that's out of the way, and now when I push the bike around, I'll be able to grab the front brake to be able to control it, so that's nice. I see there's a little bit of scuffing on that right there. Let's see if we can get that off there. I was thinking about bleeding the front brakes, but the fluid still looks pretty good, and it feels nice and bled, so I think I'm going to leave it where it's at for right now and get a couple rides in on her, then I'll flush all the fluid out. Let's see if I can use a Scotch-Brite and get rid of the scuffing. Oh yeah. Coming right off. That's cool. Most of it, at least. Yeah, not too bad. I mean, you can see a couple little shiny spots right there, but that's a lot better than it looked. Anyway, yeah, this feels nice and bled, and the back feels nice and bled, so I'm gonna leave that be for now, and might bleed it later after a couple rides. But you can see right here, it's still pretty clear. The OEM stuff is typically a little darker, kind of a amber color, versus like once you buy just regular .4 from your auto parts store, it looks pretty clear. For some reason, the OEM stuff is always kind of an amber color, but it's fine. It looks good. Okay, I guess I'll go do the foot peg real quick before I get onto that subframe. We're gonna have to try to straighten that thing out, so which means I got to take the plastic off the rear and all that stuff. Take the silencer off, and we're gonna try to beat it straight. But let me just knock this out real quick. For me, I find using a set of these wire cutters right here, because I can just grab this with that, and I can even use it like a pry. Like I can bite it like this and just pry it up if it's giving me a real hard time coming out of the hole. Obviously, I'm going to use a new cotter pen when it's time to put it back together, but come on, washer. All right. Come on. Let me get up in there a little bit better. Oh, there it is. Sweet. All right, let me go clean this stuff up. Well, let me show you while I'm replacing it. So a little bit of road rash right here, and it bent it up. So yeah, let me go clean this stuff up and we'll install the new one. Oh, and by the way, if you're having a hard time getting that pin out of there, in the past I've just stuck a flathead right there in it and then take a hammer and tap it out. Gets them out pretty good. Let me wipe up the dirt that might be in here. Doesn't have to be dirt. Perfect. I'm gonna get it dirty anyway. Alright, brand new foot peg. Let's get it out of the bag. And here's where the fun starts. Alright, let's see. How did that go on? Okay, like that. Stuck on it. Oh, goes on this. Alright, let me get up here. Like I said, I'm sore. That was a hard hit. But I'm working. There we go. That wasn't too bad, actually. Alright. Brand new cotter pen. Grab that washer, put it back over here. Yeah, it was a tough crash. I pride myself on, I'm 47 years old, so I kind of pride myself on riding within my ability anymore and not riding over my head and keeping it safe. I believe I ride fast for my age, but I just kind of, I don't do anything I don't think I can do. And but again, that things happen. That's the sport that we're in. All right. Looking good. Alright, so not only do we have a really nice crease in the rear fender here, but it's hard to see, but that subframe is off to the side. If you look right up here, oh man, yeah, doesn't match the tire very well. It's way off to the side. Let me get lined up with the tire here. Yep, and the silencer is also bent over right here, so gonna have to take it all out apart and see if we can straighten up that subframe. Plus, while I have the whole subframe kind of off, or I will take it off actually, but I need to get that air box all cleaned out. These things can be a pain sometimes. You gotta be careful. There you go. All right, it's an 8mm. I want to show you underneath the seat. It sounds like my neighbor's back there having a party. Check this out. Original air filter, never been cleaned. Let's pull the air filter off. Let me show you that soot. I think I got that all the way loose now. Yeah, let me pull that out with my both hands. All right. You can literally see the soot in there. Especially down up in there some. So, you know, the filter was just starting to let stuff through. I mean, it looks clean on this side, but it was clearly starting to let some stuff through. So that's unfortunate. But, you know, I'm sure the motor handled it okay. Obviously I'll be putting a new YZ250 piston in it. And I'll check the crank and the crank bearings and everything when we're in there. But the motor sounds really tight, and I have already pulled the ignition cover and checked for play. Everything's really tight. So what made it through the filter was very sooty, very fine grain. So I doubt it did any kind of damage. But you know, yeah, that you don't want that happening to your bike. All right, let me continue stripping this thing down. Wow, that's even slightly bent. Can you see it? Oh boy, let me see if I can find another one of these. Hopefully I can. If not, I'll order one. I mean, I could probably just straighten it too. It's not really that bad. But I need to straighten that subframe too. But first, let me take it out there, get all that soot cleaned out of it, and I'll be right back. Well, I have a whole cooler here full of just random Japanese hardware for dirt bikes. Best I was able to find to replace this one that's ever so slightly bent was this. It'll get me by for now. It's about the same length. I will replace this because I do like that piece right there. It helps you get it back on when you're out in the field and you have to take your subframe off or whatever. But for now, this will work for now. Also got the subframe nice and cleaned up. The airbox, I should say, nice and cleaned up like new. It's still a little wet in there, but I'm not too worried about that. So let me go ahead and bolt that back on the bike, and we're going to try to straighten it out. And I'll go ahead and use them longer, lower subframe bolts while I'm putting it in. I'm not going to put any thread locker on them right now because we're going to have to take that subframe back off later to do the rear shock and also to do the top end. But let me put these in and we can start straightening out that subframe. And if you're interested in getting some of that hardware for yourself, here it is. There's the part number right there. These are most commonly found in the YZ450 and 250F from like 2014, the current lower subframe bolts. But you can just order up that part number right there, 2 of them, and you'll be good. Okay, so you can clearly see the subframe. These 2 rails right here are a little bit off to the left, so if we're going to give her some wax, it's going to do one of 2 things. It's going to fix it or it's going to destroy it. It's okay if it destroys it, we'll just have to buy a new one. But if it fixes it, we can save money. I don't want to hit it right here. It's just going to bend that. And you want to hit it where the brace is at. Anytime you straighten up a subframe, you want to hit it where the brace is at that goes from the left to the right, so it shifts the whole subframe over both sides. If you only hit down here at tip, it's only going to shift one side and it's going to bend it all to hell. So it looks like I'm kind of stuck hitting right about here. Maybe I can get away with hitting right there and it'll push it all over. But yeah, somewhere in this area right here is where I'll be hitting. So let's take some wax at it. Start gentle. That didn't do much. It's not doing much. Let me see if I can get another game plan here. Okay, I laid the bike over. That might allow me to get a bigger whack without it falling off the stand. Sorry if I'm swinging like a wuss, but I'm pretty sore. Literally from my hips all the way to my neck, everything. Even like my rib cage, name it. Alright. Let's see. Try to hit right here. Don't fall. Okay. Alright, let me see where we're going with this. Still need some whacking. Oh yeah, it's working now. It's working so well, I think I might have went a hair too far. Let me get it back up on the stand and see where it's at. Well, definitely moved. Not sure if I went too far or not. Okay, what I'm going to do now is bolt the rear fender back on. That's going to give me a little more to see, and I'll be able to see where the rear fender is pointed at, and that'll give me an idea if I went too far. I might have went a hair too far, but that's okay. It'll be really easy to tap it back over some if I did. So let me put the rear fender back on real quick. A new fender, that is, a straight one. Okay, I mean, I don't have it bolted on, it's just loose here, but just by setting it on, I can see I kind of went a little too far. You can see how when you put the fender on, it gives you a better idea of what's going on. So let me give it a few more whacks back the other way now, because I went too far. Shouldn't have to be that hard of a hit this time, so I'll just use my leg right here. It's so hard on my body the way it feels. Hold on. Get one more whack. Let me put the rear fender back on and take a look. Okay, this is ridiculous. Now I went back too far that way. Need to give it a softer hit back that way, real soft. Let me try again. I can do it like this. A little more than that. There. Yes, I think I got it. Check it out. Follow this line right here with your eye to the rear tire. You can a good indicator you have it right. Obviously, it's good to use a good straight front rear fender, not one that's crooked or bent, or you'll get the judgment all wrong. But a good way too is if the fender is like this or like that, like if it's like this or like that, that's an indicator it's a little off too. So when you have it centered, it'll look straight with the rear tire, and it won't be like that or like that. And obviously, the final test is when you get the seat on, and you see how the seat lines up with everything. So let me go ahead and bolt this rear fender down, and let me go ahead and bolt all the plastic on. Let's see where it sits. Well, personally, I think that's about as straight as I can ask for. I really can't find anything weird with it right now. Looks good to my eye over here. I don't know how the camera's picking it up, but it's definitely nice and straight. The seat's straight with the rear tire. Yeah, Obviously down the road when I get graphics on it, get it to the track, maybe look at it from a further distance. If I notice it's a little bit off to the left or the right, I can make some mild corrections, but that's pretty good for right there. You can see I got the brand new seat on it too. Start fresh so I get a good view of what's going on. It looks good. Okay, toss one of my air filters on it. Let me get this number plate on right here, and we're probably just going to go ahead and put the Pro Circuit silencer on it now, since I don't want to put that bent up silencer that I just pulled off back on. But yeah. Alright, let's get this silencer ready. I have to pull these out for the Pro Circuit. I'm going to try to put them, because see, the front one's a little different than the rear one. And this one, they put the fat side on the outside and the inside on the you get all this stuff mixed up. So I try to lay it down in a fashion that helps me remember which way they go. So when I put them onto the new silencer, come on. Gotta watch your fingers when you do this. I've jabbed my fingers before doing this. Come on, don't be stubborn. There it is. Okay, and that goes on that way. So let me set this dirty dog aside. Break out the new one. Okay. Sure, there's a better way to do this. That's how I'm doing it. Almost there. Yes. Alright, and set that in there. Alright, I'll do that one off camera, save you some time. I'll be right back. Alright, let's pop this silencer on here. You know what? I got an air filter on it now, and the air box is cleaned out. I checked inside. Oops, sorry about that. I bumped the camera off. Nope. Okay. I checked inside the, I'm going to put this thing on now. I'll put the Pro Circuit pipe on when I go to do the top end. Not going to put that on now. But anyway, while I had the whole subframe off, I checked inside the carburetor, the throat, down into the reeds, and there's no sand or anything in there. So I think I'm safe to start her up. So I'm going to start her up for you guys in just a minute. Let me get the silencer on. Well, I'm noticing this tab right here has been bent ever so slightly inward. So I'm going to have to straighten that out. Let's see what I can do here. Just going to use the crescent wrench. I guess when the silencer got banged up, beat up, and knocked this thing off too. If it breaks, it breaks, and I'll just have to buy a subframe. Let's see if that looks any better. Well, we're getting there. Let me work out a little bit more. Voila, I got it on there. I had to give that thing a few good bends, but you can see I finally have it flush with the angle of this mount. So that was bent that way. And I got the rubber boot on there. Again, I'll be putting the Pro Circuit pipe on when I do the top end. Same with the reeds and stuff. So yeah, because as you can see with the OEM silencer right here, you can see all this mounting right here. You can see it's all separating right here. It took a huge hard hit. This one's bent too. So that's what bent the subframe right there in that area. So Yeah, got that straightened out though. Alright, the pro circuit's up in there, and that number plate is on. I'm not going to shoe glue this area yet. I like to put shoe glue on in these areas because, as you can see, the seat just wears right into the frame in these spots, and also on the tank. But I'm going to save that for after I put the graphic kit on, because where the graphic kit likes to fold over right here, if you don't put a layer of shoe glue right here, sometimes your seat can pull the graphic kit out. So I'm going to do all this all in one shot in a further video. For right now, I'm just going to bolt the seat on, make her look like a bike again, and then we're going to start her up for the first time in this video series. Okay, I haven't drained the tank yet. This will be the only run that I do with gas that's currently in the tank that I bought it with. After this, it's always going to have my fuel in it, but I mean, it's made it this long, it hasn't burnt up a top end, and I can see that it's, you know, I can see like 2-cycle oil up in the carburetor, the red stuff, and I know it's in there. It's good. So fire up. Plus she's smoking, so she's got 2-cycle oil. Check it out. And it's nice and straight. Well, it sounds good, sounds stock, but it sounds good. Well, I think that's all I'm going to be able to do today. I'm pretty worn out. I'm sore, stiff. Well, stay tuned for part 3 of this video. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do in part 3 yet. I've still got to think about it a little bit. I think I might go ahead and jump right into the top end and just get that taken care of, get the piston in there, do some polishing of the exhaust port and cleaning up of the intake ports and bolting on the V-force reeds. Or I might go right to the suspension. I don't know. Maybe the tires. I got to think about it a little bit, but I think it'll probably be the motor. So stay tuned for part 3. I also have some other videos coming up here real shortly. The RMZ 450, getting that bike up to speed. Also, Barkeep has asked for me to do a video on my nitrogen setup right here. So I'm probably going to fit that in within the next day or two. But yeah, stay tuned for part 3 on this video. And again, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Probably be the top end, but I'm not quite sure. I gotta think about it a little bit and see how I feel. This weekend, I'm taking it easy. I'm probably gonna ride the YZ250, not the 125, and I think I'm gonna go out to Croom and just trail ride. I'm sore, I'm hurting. Plus, I hit my head. You don't need to hit your head twice in a row, right? Not in a short period of time. You got to give yourself a break. So I'm just gonna go out there and follow my wife around through the trails. I'll get some riding in. It'll be a good time. Just take it easy. And but I hope all you guys get a great weekend of riding in. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions or anything like that on this build as we go along, just shoot it down in the comment section. Catch you guys next time.